through the night. She just want the tip, no advice. On the side of the road, what's the risk? Roll the dice. If they catch us, I don't care, cause we all going down.
If you enjoy these plants, my dad planted them. I have no idea what they're called, but they're pretty enough. So I thought I would film here today. So yeah, it's 2021 finally. And matter of fact, today is also my birthday, which makes it a perfect opportunity to talk about some mindset shifts I want myself to have over the next year. Now, these are some things that I often come across, but either I failed to implement them into my life or I haven't actually tried implementing them into my life. So without further ado, let's get started. The first one is about comparison. Now, I want myself to stop mentally comparing to other people, but continue to compare to other people physically. Now, what does this mean? It doesn't mean, comparing my physique and like how big I am to other people, but it means in terms of action. In terms of action that I take, I want myself to I have been doing that. I want myself to compare to other people in terms of my action taken, but not mentally compare myself to them. So for example, if I want to be good at football, I want my action to be comparable to people that I look up to, but I don't want to beat myself up if I'm not at the levels yet. I think this is especially important if you want to stay competitive but still have a healthy mentality. What I find myself doing a lot is that I compare myself to other people, both mentally and physically, and always beat myself up for not having what others have. But the truth is, this mentality is almost like an never-ending cycle. Even if I have beaten the people that I compare myself to, there's only going to be new people that I compare myself to. So the best way forward is just, I guess, to not mentally compare to them, but only compare the actions that you take. And the second mindset shift I want to make is to stop seeing goals as a destination, but see them as a compass or a North Star that guides you through life. I found myself often seeing goal as a one-dimensional success or failure measurement, but it shouldn't be, right? After reading different books and watching a lot of inspiring videos, I realized that this mindset could actually be harmful to you. Because whenever you see a goal for the destination, you only get the happiness once you reach the goal, and the happiness doesn't even last that long. It lasts like 5 seconds, and afterwards you try to aim for something even bigger, which in turn, for the majority of your time, you're not happy because you're always just chasing after something. But instead, if you see them as a North Star or a compass that directs you to a general direction, you get less upset if you do not meet the goal, because the goal is not in the destination, but the goal is just a general direction. So how do you measure your goals? I think I want to try and measure my goals against my progress. So for example, if I set the goal a week ago, I might measure myself against what I was doing a week ago, rather than beat myself up for not achieving the goal after 7 days I've set it down. I think this is especially true because I'm now setting goals at ridiculously high standards after reading the 10x Rule by Grant Cardone and The Magic of Thinking Big by David Schwartz. And these books tell you to set goals at really high standards, which of course it has benefits as stated in their books. If you're interested, I think you can just Google the summaries of it. And also, I've read them on Blinkist, which if you haven't seen, I'll link my Blinkist video maybe like here somewhere. I don't know, I've never actually done this before, but if not here, it's here or somewhere, or maybe down in the description. But the thing is, when I set my goals as such a high standard, it gives me a lot of additional pressure and a lot of stress, because these goals are often super far-fetched. It takes a very long time for me to see if I have any progress on them. When a goal is set against such a long time horizon, you often find it hard to see yourself progressing, right? So for me, I think it might be more healthy for me to compare myself to what I was doing in the past, rather than have I actually achieved the goal yet. Thirdly, I hope to implement in myself the mindset that with every strength and everything that I excel at, it often comes with a price. I actually got this idea from a blog post by James Clear. If you don't know James, he's the author of the book Atomic Habits. In this blog post, he talked about Picasso. He talked about how Picasso was, as you know, one of the greatest artists of all time. But he also talked about his love life. He has married like 3 times, and most of his affairs ended in him cheating on his partner. But he also gained a lot of his painting inspiration from the relationships he's had, which, if you think about it, it's very ironic. He's very good at painting, but in return, that causes him his personal love life. Because what makes him good at painting, or you can say one factor that makes him good at painting, actually makes his love life miserable. This can be applied to not just Picasso, but also like everyone. People often just see the success side of a successful person. For example, Elon Musk. If you look at him, yeah, he's very, very successful. He's recently been named the richest person on earth, but think about how much he has to sacrifice to get there. I think this is something that I personally want to be more aware of when I think that I'm not good enough in certain aspect. You know, for example, sacrificing time with my family and my friends. Fourthly, implementation beats any planning. I've always been a very organized person. I like to plan everything ahead before taking action, but that also means that in a lot of times I actually overplan and don't take any actions. Now I came across this idea of window openers versus door knockers in one of Ali Abdal's video. Now a window opener likes to see what's on the other side of the window before opening the windows, and the door knockers don't mind opening the door or knocking on it, even if they don't know what's on the other side. Now door knockers actually have a disproportionate amount of opportunities, or say big opportunities compared to windows openers, because a lot of the times good things in life does not come with a very clear path, which means if you're a window opener like me, you'll often be hesitant to go down that path. I want to be more of a door knocker in the coming year. I want myself to take more risks, take more action, be more spontaneous. Now I'm not saying that planning is bad. In fact, quite the contrary, I plan a lot. And I'm just saying that I want to plan less and take more actions. Finally, and I think one of the most important mindset shifts that I want myself to make, is to spend more time thinking and understanding rather than jumping on a bandwagon and accepting whatever people are saying. And I think this is especially useful in the world we're living in. Everything's going crazy out there. It's hard to know what's true and what's not, which is why I think we have to spend more time thinking and understanding. Now, I see an interesting trend on Instagram. You often see people sharing other people's thoughts onto their Instagram story, which is perfectly fine, and I do that as well. But I found that with every 10 posts I share, I only write maybe one, or sometimes not even one, about my own opinion, which means that I'm often using other people's opinion to replace my own, which is not a good thing to do, especially with such polarized views in politics today. So what's the solution here? To be fair, I don't know any practical solution other than to just try to think and understand before commenting on something. But yeah, I think in this increasingly clickbaity world that we live in, this is something that we all, maybe not just me, especially me, should learn to do more often. And yeah, that's the 5 mindset shifts I have planned for myself in the coming year. I hope it works out. Well, even if not all of them, I hope at least I can implement 1 or 2, which I think will already be like super beneficial to my life. And yeah, tell me if you want to implement the same thing, or if you have other mindset shifts in mind. And that's for me today. I'm just gonna enjoy sunshine here for a bit longer, and I'll see you next week, I guess, if I have time to make a video. If you like this video, maybe consider giving me a like or subscribe to the channel. I will be publishing more often, hopefully. And yeah, stay tuned, and I'll see you next time.